Rightio guys, so where we left off from the last one, we'd saved some shape files from QGIS, so even shape files are still need to be manipulated a little bit before, especially the contours, which I'll show you the example of, are really any use to us. So what you can do, or one way to get the altitude information out of the downloaded or the shape files, or the JSON files from the Aurin website, is to use the GDAL built-in components into QGIS. It's a little bit of command line work, so might not be comfortable for a few people. So, but this is an alternative, which takes the information, reads in the shapefile, and it reads in the database file as well as the shapefile. And then, because in the database file we also got the altitude, we're able to then generate something similar to what the contour map looks like. We can begin to make it in 3 dimensions. So what we're going to need is this as a path file. So what this path file does, file path, basically what it allows us to do is to read in the location of where we've saved that shape file. So if we set one file, we go down to Maribyrnong and we choose that shape file, and we go open, and I've already done it here, and then you plug that into the shape file. So what you can do here, I've actually just noticed, is that you can move to the center. Now we can actually make that false, and we can keep those coordinates, those global coordinates, in the same spot, which would be quite useful. And then true, yeah, we're going to read the file in, so that's cool. Now this is a read shape file component. And from what I remember, it's a Finch. It's just scripted in Python. So if you can Google on the Grasshopper website, Finch GIS read shape file, I'm sure you'll come across it. Very, very useful, especially in this case. So and then we've got, as you can see, our GIS, and it has been moved to the center because we've selected true. But it is flat. It is not much good to anybody who's trying to make a 3-dimensional terrain map to have it flat. So a few very simple basic steps and we can get it sort of moving up. So what this next does, so this next component here, Finch's extract user strings. So this one will take the geometry, but it also has attached to it the values which we saved in. So it's got the location of it, and it's got number 1 here, which is the altitude. I think this one here is actually the ID, the unique ID value of all the curves as well. So what we can do is, like, very simply, is just go to move. We'll take maybe like a list item and number 2, and we'll take this one, and we'll take that one. We want to move it in a Z unit. Now I might just do a quick pause here, guys. Righto guys, now I'm back, but there's been a little bit of a workaround. So the way I did it is I used the GDAL component, or I think it's the OGR to OGR in the GDAL toolbox. So just working away for it to do it in Grasshopper. And it seems the easiest way, when you read it into this file, it only reads as a text, and Grasshopper is not that flexible that allows us to pass that information on as an int. So the way we've done around it, we've got an Excel reader. Now, if you jump back to that file where we where the JSON file was, we had this DBF file. Now that DBF file can be read in Excel. So what happens when you open it with Excel is you get these columns. That first one is the coordinates, so it's coordinates of some sort. You get its unique identifier, and then you get its altitude there as well. So the altitude is the one that we're interested in. So to set up that Excel reader, you need a Boolean toggle. You need to set it to true. You don't need that work path there at all. The column is number 3. It was the third column across, so not C. And then you can set that to the multi-line data. And it's from row 2 that we're starting at, because at row 1 it's got this information here. The headers, and then end row is the very last row in the spreadsheet. So you can just take that number there, which is 10958, sorry, and then you pop it in there, and then we have all the information that we need. Now what we want to do then is to translate. We might have to do it with a graph here, is to get all this geometry. And let's hope that that has worked. And it should shift it up. Now the scales might be slightly off. Yes, the scales are off, but you can start to see that that's starting to give us some sort of a contourish map that we can then start to scale up and start to work with a little bit, which I have got prepared, and will again, I might stop it there and show you the scaled up version of the contour map, and then getting it from this and then putting it into Max. So cool.